So in this lecture we introduce the plots package. You should know that in Julia much of the immense functionality available to you is available through what are called packages. You have to load the package to be able to use it, as we show you in this lecture. Simple plots with a plots package. So what I need to explain now is the plots package and the relationship of the plots package to PyPlot. And then we'll show some examples. So the first thing to do is to load the plots package into the current notebook, and here is the command that we use. I should just explain that the plots package is a sort of an overarching package combining many of Julia's plotting initiatives. Julia has a lot of projects on visualizing and scientific and technical data. Plots is very nice because it's simple to learn, and with plots you can use any of the other projects. We choose to offer you PyPlot. PyPlot is a very good one because it's mature, it's very powerful, and it's got very helpful and welcoming communities. To add the plots package, we say using plots. And then to specify the PyPlot backend, we just give PyPlot with that. So it's enough to say PyPlot with an empty set of parentheses. If you know what you want, you can override it. The information you need are on these websites. Of course, if you want to become very good at using plots, you should read what's available and you should look at the examples. Okay, so now we are ready to actually plot it. It ought to be really simple. So we just say we created data every days and all cases. Let me just remind you that the data was read in over here. So every days we slice the array EB data, taking all of the elements of a column. The first column gives us every days and the second column gives us the number of cases. So here's a very simple command that we need to give. And let's see what the plot looks like. It's not too bad. Scale looks good, the blue looks good. We don't really need the legend, we should add titles, but certainly plot is very simple to use. So the next thing we want to do is to tweak the current plot. The keywords allow us to change. So the keywords are originally set with default values, and if you don't change them, this is the plot you get. But we do want to change them. In particular, let's change the line type. We don't want to see a curve because drawing a solid curve between two dates, we have some data on this date and then we have some data on that date, but drawing a straight line between them makes it seem as if we know what happened in between, but we have no data for this line. So it would be better to use a marker. The keyword for the symbol that we plot is marker. The marker we choose is the type diamond. Again, you can go to the websites and look at all the possible shapes you can use. The line type is scatter. So the default is path, and that draws you a connected path. Scatter just draws the individual points, and so this is how we specify the line, and this is what we see. We should add title, we should add labels, we should turn off the legend, and for illustration, again, change the line type so that the symbols are joined by a gray dotted line. And we'll change the size of the diamonds. This really to show you how one can play with the plot. So this makes the command go very long. And here the command is actually broken into what appears to be different lines, but logically here the plot command opens with a parenthesis and here it closes with a parenthesis. One of the nice things is that we can put comments on these lines and that doesn't interfere with the whole plot function and the evaluation thereof. So there's the title, and the title must be a string, and then we have a comma, the X label is assigned, it must be a string, the Y label is assigned, it must be a string, the marker here is the change in size, and now because we give two attributes to the marker, we put both attributes inside parentheses, and that is the total attribute of marker for this plot. Similarly for the line, we want to change the line type to path, we want to change the line style as a dotted line, not a solid line, but it's going to draw dots all the way in between the markers, and then we change the color. All of these things, as I say, you can look up. The legend we make disappear simply by saying that the logic of legend is that it is false, so there's no legend, and we turn off the grid by saying that the logic of the grid is false. Let's see. The last thing, of course, that one needs to do when you've made a plot is that you need to save it. If all you wanted to do was to look at this on the screen, then saving is not necessary, but most of the time we want to reuse the plot in a document or something like that. Various formats can be specified. The details of this depends a little bit on the backend that we use. The two most common ones that will be used are PNG and PDF. PDF is very suitable for publication. PNG is suitable for websites, and it's simply, plot can work out what you want to do. So if you don't say what type you do, then plot will by default use PNG. If you give a different extension, plot will use the format corresponding to that extension, if it can. It takes a little while, but it's done. That's the end of the lecture. Great, so that's the plot. You can now use it in a document, or you can send it to your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or even to your favorite teacher.